All right, so what is an ETF? ETF is an exchange-traded fund, and it's a type of investment fund that trades on stock exchanges, much like the individual stocks. And ETFs are designed to track the performance or a price of a specific index, commodity, bond, or a basket of assets. And they offer investors exposure to a diversified portfolio of assets or a specific market segment. And in this case, they offer the investors the opportunity to profit from the price of Bitcoin, right? So we've got an investment fund, which in this case would be Blackrock, and then that is going to enable their investors to profit from the Bitcoin's price movements without directly investing in cryptocurrency. And that's the big bit there, right? Without directly investing in the cryptocurrency itself. And we're going to talk more about why that is important. So a lot of people keep saying, well, why is this such a big deal, right? Well, the reason why it is such a big deal is at the moment, the mainstream investors in the US are struggling to invest in cryptocurrency due to the regulation or lack of regulation and the law enforcement brought forward from the SEC, right? So a Bitcoin ETF is going to provide a way for traditional investors to gain exposure to the cryptocurrency market without directly owning or managing the digital assets themselves, right? The reason why that is so important is because traditional investors in the US make up the majority of the funds. We want to get those funds into crypto because the more money in crypto means the more opportunity for us here to make money. Right. It also gives regulatory oversight because ETFs are subject to regulatory oversight, in this case, the SEC, which can provide a level of security and transparency that might be lacking in some other forms of the cryptocurrency investment, right? And we've seen that the SEC is so big on this whole, they need to be in line with the proper regulations. However, as we've seen, the SEC doesn't actually have any regulations that fit the cryptocurrency market at the moment. Right, it brings liquidity and price discovery. So the creation of Bitcoin ETF could potentially lead to increased liquidity in the cryptocurrency market. And risk mitigation. So investing in the Bitcoin directly involves the risk of storing and securing the asset. With the Bitcoin ETF, right, through BlackRock, those investors will not have to buy, purchase, store, hold, or worry about the security of holding Bitcoins. So that's taken all away from them and they can just simply trade it. And that's one of the upsides to a ETF. It also allows for market integration, right? It's going to bring cryptocurrency into the traditional financial markets, which is what we want. We want to get crypto into those traditional markets. And it brings in institutional participation, right? So pension funds, I think they make up $40 trillion worth of assets in the US. So that would be a massive, massive boost. If you can get just a few or even 1% of that into cryptocurrency, that is massive gains in the Bitcoin and crypto space. So should I care? Well, for investors that already hold Bitcoin, right, and are intending to hold long term, it's not going to be a life-changing moment for them, right? Not in the short term. In the long term, it will be. However, a US regulated spot Bitcoin ETF could significantly increase Bitcoin's accessibility, liquidity, and demand and price, right? So that's where it is important to those people that are holding, because we want long-term gains. We want to see a bull market. We want to see new all-time highs. We want to see Bitcoin become the primary digital currency of the world. And in order to do that, we need this ETF. This is one of the steps along the way to getting there. It's going to bring in a lot of the crypto fence sitters, right? So these are the people that have the money that want to invest in different kind of investments and diversify their portfolios. However, crypto has not been one of those things just because of what they've seen in the media over the last few years, right? The FTX scandals, Celsius, etc. So that kind of stuff has really pushed those people out. There is a lot of money in people that are considered crypto fence sitters. I'm talking a lot of money. So this ETF will legitimize Bitcoin and bring that money into the market, right? So that's going to add on top of the ETF money. So this is people that they don't want to trade, they want to hold. And so they might be in self-managed super funds, they might be businesses, they might just be people with excess cash. All that's going to bring that money in. So let's just have a look here, right? Let's do some quick math. So around 30 trillion in assets in the US, which are managed by financial advisors and invested funds like BlackRock. So if they allocated just 1% of this amount into spot Bitcoin ETFs, it would translate to around 300 billion. Now, could you imagine the market cap instantly jumping 300 billion? I think it's sitting around 860 at the moment, and that jumping up that 300 billion, right? That's going to be a big increase in the price. That's going to push it up towards those previous all-time highs, if not higher. So as you can see, BlackRock has around 9.4 trillion US dollars under asset management, right? Or sorry, assets under management. So funding their spot Bitcoin ETF with $2 billion is absolutely nothing to them. That is spare change they found in between the couch cushions, right? And that's just BlackRock alone. You've also got all the other, I think there's 9 other ETFs that have been put forward. And so we could see quite a significant amount of just seed funding really going into the market within the first week. So let's take a little look at the chart. Jumping back here to 2023, right? So the end of 2022, start of 2023, it was sitting just above, Bitcoin was sitting just above 16,000. In the space of that 12 months up until today, the 7th of January 2024, it has risen to 44,000. So we're looking at about 150, just a little under 150% gain in the space of a year, whilst we were in a bear market still, right? We've only just hit the bull market. So when we start talking about inflows of billions of dollars in liquidity through a ETF, that bodes well for Bitcoin's price going into the massive bull run of 2024. And here we have market cap, right? So at its all-time high on the 10th of November of 2021, it was 1.26 trillion. And then we go down here, sad frowny face, 31st of December 2022, so kicking off 2023, we were only at a measly 319 billion. So since the start of 2023 through to the start of 2024, we've gone up to 861 billion, with an expectation of upwards of anywhere between 100 to 300 billion, best case scenario, or above. That's going to push us back up towards those all-time high market cap levels, right? Which is going to push up the price of Bitcoin. And that's just talking about the money coming in through the ETFs. We haven't even talked about the money that we would see from those fence sitters, right, who have decided to get into Bitcoin finally. All right, guys, let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart to wrap up this video. So as you can see, we are sitting around the $43,900 mark currently, and we've got our support line set there at, what's that at? That's at 40,500, right? So you can see it touches it a few times there, but we're on the uptrend still. So let's talk BlackRock ETF. Worst case, not approved. None of them approved again. The SEC decides to delay or deny, and we see a retracement of Bitcoin, which we've seen in the past when they've rejected these ETFs. Right, so our next support line there is going to be 37,500, as you can see, runs across there. That's kind of where it sat before, even here, and then punched through and went up, right? So we'd be looking for a retracement. Now, I don't think it's going to retrace all the way back down to 37,500. I would say it would sit around the 40,000 or even the 3,800 mark before we see the upside again, right? So what could we see in the future? So 46,500, that's going to be our next resistance line. So ETF approval, right? We want to see it punch through that, sit above it, consolidate, and then go for the rise. And we could see it reaching our all-time highs again. So that would be a 55% gain from today's price. If you bought it now, up to 65,000. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Remember, if you like the content, please ring that little bell, hit that blue thumbs up there, and subscribe. We are a channel trying to grow, so every little bit helps. Remember, nothing that we say on here constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research.